My fiancé's mistress was pregnant. In order to be with her, he was willing to do anything just to divorce me. I consented to the divorce eventually, but he died. Only at the last moment did he learn it was a conspiracy by his mistress and me. When I arrived at the club, Carl Madden was sitting in the main seat. His expression restrained, his eyes rimmed with red. The group of guys, which is born in the purple, dared not breathe, greeting me like a savior, straightening up and saying, "Hello, Miss Madden." The girl sitting next to him panicked when she saw me, her eyes red as she said to him, "Carlito, I'm back. Are you still going home with her?" I walked over and picked up the wine bottle on the table. "Carl, choose one. Go home or get a bloody head." The room fell silent except for the sound of breathing. Carl lifted his eyelids to look at me, and from just this gesture, I could clearly sense his impatience. They were caught in the blast and silently retreated to a safe distance. I stood firmly in front of them, holding the wine bottle motionlessly. After a while, Carl curled his lips and asked, "Who called my wife here?" As soon as he spoke, the color drained from the girl sitting next to him, and she looked like she was about to fall apart. She clung to Carl's arm, asking him in a trembling voice, "Carlito, are you going home with her?" I laughed out of anger, pulled up a chair, and sat down facing her. "Giovanna Weber, while I can still tolerate it, you'd better leave." A tear rolled down from the corner of her eye. "Since you know me, do you know?" I interrupted her. I know you're his first love. Your picture is still in his study." A blush crept onto Giovanna's face, and her eyes suddenly lit up as she gently rested her head on Carl's shoulder. "Carlito, I'm back. Get a divorce. Even after all these years, marrying you is still my greatest dream. I know you haven't been happy. You've suffered too much these past years." Carl tried to maintain his usual poker face, but the vein pulsing in his temple betrayed his turbulent emotions. He raised his hand to gently caress Giovanna's back. I coldly interrupted their tender moment. "Mr. Madden, it seems you don't want to go home. Well then, I apologize." I raised my hand high and swung the wine bottle directly toward Giovanna's head. Along with the shattering of the wine bottle came screams from the room. Giovanna, pale-faced, looked at Carl, who had shielded her in his arms, as blood mixed with wine gushed from his forehead. Carlito, how are you? How are you?" Giovanna got up from Carl's embrace, supporting him as he sat down, and frantically grabbed tissues from the table to press against the wound on his forehead. The tissues quickly became soaked with blood. Giovanna turned back, roaring at me like a madwoman. "You crazy woman! Are you trying to kill someone? How could Carlito have married a crazy woman like you?" Carl paused for a moment, took the tissue himself, wiped the blood and alcohol from his eyes, and held onto Giovanna. "Gio, don't provoke her. Are you hurt anywhere?" Giovanna pouted, extending her hand, which had a cut about a clam long from a glass shard. Carl immediately stood up anxiously, carefully lifting her hand and leading her out. "Why didn't you say you were injured? Come on, I'll take you to the hospital." I looked down at my hand hanging by my side, blood dripping from my fingertips, sinking into the carpet and disappearing. I have been busy all day at the company, only managing a few bites of bread for lunch because of important clients. Finally getting off work, I rushed to the club after seeing a message from someone else. "Call. I'm exhausted, hungry, and sleepy. I'm also injured." How did the Call who used to scrape his hands raw and bleed all over while rescuing me from kidnappers become so distant? Dizziness washed over me, making me feel disoriented, and I subconsciously grabbed the edge of the table, collapsing into a chair. I heard someone call out to him, "Bro, Gio is also injured. She doesn't look good." Call's voice carried over from a distance. "She's so strong, she can handle it herself." I looked up at him, his departing figure so resolute. "Well, that's fine. This way, I won't feel too guilty when I make my move." I looked up at these well-known playboys in K-City, standing upright with concern in their eyes as they watched me.